Don't be a pinhead.
Who you calling pinhead?
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
All right, Clanton. You called down the thunder, well, now you got it. You see that? It says United States Marshal.
Why? Please don't kill me. Please.
Take a good look at him, Mike, because that's how you're gonna end up. The Cowboys are finished, you understand me? I see a red sash, I kill a man wearing it. So run, you cur. Run! Tell all the other curs the law's coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Zuki and Ruggs Show. And we are live here at the CSB Studios in Stratford, Connecticut, and we're bringing to you another jam-packed sports show where we cover a wide range of topics in the sporting world. And I'll throw it now to my partner, Zuki.
What's happening, brother?
How you doing?
Hey, how was your weekend, man? Good?
It was good.
Yo, man, I guess winter's upon us, huh? Jeez, Christ. Last week it was nice. We thought, an extension of spring, and now we got I shouldn't say extension. Spring, came early. Now winter's upon us.
Kind of depressing if you ask me, but
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you know what? That's football season for you.
that is. I mean, that is the good thing about it, is you get a real taste of football. And speaking of football, this is our Thanksgiving week edition of the show.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of football coming up. It's kind of like a feast week here for football fans like us.
Hey, Ruggs, how is it at your house during Thanksgiving? You guys in front of the TV with the turkey, or do you guys... How you doing it? You shut that TV off?
We got to shut the TV off because of the kids. But when I get a chance by myself, then it goes on.
Nice. Nice.
But,
yeah, man. So, yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Unfortunately, it started for me on Friday night with Derrick Rose looking like he suffered another season-ending knee injury. This poor kid just seems like just no luck in his future here. But, the one good thing I take out of it is that it was his right knee. It wasn't the left knee.
Yep.
It was the right knee. And then you have doctors come out on ESPN and say, hey, listen, that can tend to happen when you have a left knee surgically repaired.
Sure, you favor the other knee.
You favor the other knee, and then bam, that goes. And it really, when you looked at it, it wasn't one of his typical jump cuts or one of his crazy moves.
No, it was an odd-looking play, really.
Yeah, he just went back on a defensive play, and he just, and it just looked like his leg just gave out. It was weird. Like and it didn't look like much. I said, okay, maybe his leg buckled, and all of a sudden he can't walk. And I'm like, oh, man. But looking like a torn meniscus, it's too bad because people are going to start with the injury-prone, labels on Derrick Rose and, all this stuff. Hey, it can happen to anybody. It's too bad. It's, considering that last week at this time I was sitting right in this chair and I picked them to go to the NBA Finals. Is it too late for me to change my pick? Can I take it
Well, the one
back?
thing about the Bulls, I was talking about this with Dan, who's behind the glass here at the studios for us before the show started, and they're used to playing without him because they had to go all last year without him. And they, I still think they're a playoff team. I didn't pick them to the finals anyway, but I really think it limits their chances of going to the finals, certainly. I still think they can have a successful season. We were talking about how they play team defense. They play as a team, really, just in general, unlike some other teams in the East, like the Knicks and Brooklyn right now, for two examples.
Right.
I still think they'll make the playoffs. They could be a dangerous first-round matchup for somebody. If you're going to ask me whether they're going to knock the Heat off or the Pacers, I'm probably going to say no. I might have said that anyway, even with Rose, but they certainly had a much better chance with him. But I still think that the season's not a write-off. The East is still pretty wide open. You don't have Boston looming large this year. You got some other teams that are down. You basically have two heavyweights, and that's Indiana and Miami. And then, Chicago, to me, is still probably the third best team in the East, even without Rose.
I think for me, though, which, as a Bulls fan, I'd rather they not be. I'd rather they almost be a lottery team. And then this way,
I understand,
because this college draft is going to be one of the deepest in years, and I'd almost rather they just suck and then
get
a Jabari Parker or somebody. Which is a pipe dream, but a guy, an elite college talent, and then have Derrick Rose come back with him. But you're right. It's probably not going to happen. They're probably still going to be about a 45-win team, somewhere around that range, and which will get them in, especially in the bottom tier of the Eastern Conference.
Sure.
And
I mean, they're better than the Pistons. They're better than the Hawks.
Yeah, if they're lucky, maybe they'll be a 4 seed, 5 seed in there, just like last year.
Yeah,
which is kind of depressing, as you can hear in the tone of my voice. I'm trying to sound optimistic, but I'm not.
Mediocrity
really.
is kind of the worst thing.
Yeah, because last year, although it was fun, have to do it again is not fun. It's not something to be excited about.
It's St. Louis Blue syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, but it is what it is. I just hope that, I think I may be in the minority on this one. I think Derrick Rose is going to be okay. I really do. I really think he's going to get that right knee fixed, and I think he's going to be okay. Now, will he be the 2011 Derrick Rose? I'm not so sure about that. I can't say that with confidence. I can't say he's going to be that MVP, making those crazy jump cuts, twirly underneath baskets, that he used to make. I hope so. I'd love to see that guy, but he may not. He may have to make an adjustment to his game. He may have to say, okay, I can't do that anymore, but I can still do this. And I think Derrick Rose is still a pretty good ball player. I've heard some people say, oh, now that he can't be that player anymore, he's not good. I don't think so. I disagree with that. He can still be explosive. He can still hit the hole. He can still jump. He's still going to have a 75-inch vertical. And you know what? His jump shots, although he was off to a rusty start this year, he wasn't lighting it up, which was to be expected.
It was to be expected.
His jump shot has gotten a lot better. And I think he's young enough whereas it can get better. I mean, you got to remember, he's still only about 25, 26 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a young man, very young man. So I'm not overly worried about Derrick Rose. It is disappointing, though. I can't lie about it. I can't try to...
Yeah, no sugarcoating it.
It's
a
sucks.
Tough injury for him.
It sucks for the Chicago Bulls fans to have to go through this again, but it is what it is, and hopefully... Derrick Rose gets better, and we'll see what happens next season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think physically he'll be able to come back from it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's basically back to the player he was. You got to worry about the mental side of it. Is he going to go for it as hard? Like you said,
initially it won't, and which he wasn't doing this year.
It's going to take it some time. He's going to be extra careful. He's going to be, he'll nurse it back gingerly when he gets back on the court, and you just hope that doesn't linger and stay with him throughout his career.
Yeah, I will say this, though. The Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers road to the finals just got a lot easier.
Sure, they're breathing a lot easier.
Yeah, it just got a lot easier for both of them. Considering that, like we were talking about last week, the Bulls had defeated the Pacers, and I think it's still the Pacers' only loss of the season.
Right. Yeah, they rallied to beat Boston. They were down at the half.
Right.
That's the only other scare they've really had since.
Yeah. So, tough for the city of Chicago, but at least they still got the Blackhawks.
That's true. And more NBA news. Today, Kobe Bryant signed his 2-year deal for $48 million.
Yeah.
So pretty nice to be able to collect a big nut there when you're not even active. I like it. Our jobs would be nice to be able to do something like that. Be able to sit home and collect the max.
Move the decimal point over to the left about 4 spots.
Yeah.
I'll be very happy.
I'm just wondering, if this puts the Lakers, just hamstrings them more, though. Now they're tying up more money and Kobe. I don't know if this is a cap-friendly move, if they're trying to free up some so they can go and get some people. I mean, he always says that's, his winning is his first priority and he would be open to doing that, but it doesn't seem like that's what this contract did. I don't know what your take is on it.
Yeah, it's a big enough for him, but they're probably going to lose Nash. He's really the only guy that's going to really be making a serious amount of money on that team, especially when Nash is off the books. And Gasol, I'm not too sure about.
They're still talking about trading Gasol.
I don't know. Oh, wow. What else is new?
Yeah, they always have. I don't know.
So I don't think it's a big deal. If anybody deserves it, it's him. I mean, he is the franchise. Right. And, you avoid free agency with him and you lock him up. I think it's a good move for the Lakers, especially for Kobe. Makes a little bit more money, but it's a good move. I mean, you got to lock him up. And also what's going to happen is he attracts free agents. Free agents can say, now they can pursue.
Play with Kobe.
They can pursue free agents. And they can say, okay, here, we got Kobe locked up, man. Come play with Kobe.
And it was only a 2-year deal, and he's 36, not 46. And he wasn't asking for 8 years or something ridiculous.
It's not a big
deal. You see some of these baseball contracts late where they want 8 or 9 year
Brian
deals.
McCann, anyone?
The Lakers, I mean, what are they going to do? Not bring him back?
You have to. Let
him go free agent and have the Knicks end up with him in a blockbuster. I mean, they're not going to do that. That's the end of the franchise.
Well, if anything, they're going to be doing the opposite. They're going to hope to get Carmelo over there with them.
Right.
Or someone like that.
Exactly. They need him as the lure to get somebody else in there, to get maybe 2 guys in there and try to create their own version of the big 3.
Yeah, maybe even LeBron Could you imagine? Ugh, that would make me want to vomit. If he opts out and goes to L.A. with Kobe, ugh.
Well,
it
certainly a possibility.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise anyone.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a good move for the Lakers. You had to do it. You know, it's almost like the Jeter thing with the Yankees.
Right. I mean, you're just
you have
it's
to.
a ticket thing on top of it. It's business. First and foremost.
And it's a gesture of appreciation for work previously done. You know,
exactly.
You have to lock the guy up. So that's big news, though. Good for Kobe. Good for Kobe, huh?
Yeah.
I hate you. I'm jealous.
And, we're going to take a break here on All Noise Radio, and we'll be back. We're going to break down what happened in the NFL, another crazy week if you got more than 6 or 7 picks right, you're a lot smarter than us because I don't think we did much better than that.
I think Tony Romo and a couple of the guys were listening to our podcast. Oh,
wow.
boy.
I mean, just another unbelievable week. That's why you just can't, you never know in the world of the NFL, and we'll see you in a couple.
Do you lack confidence and assertiveness?
Can you open my milk, Mommy?
Do people have a difficult time determining your gender? Do you take constant verbal abuse from strangers?
They're just a bunch of pansies.
Well, you're a man. Time to start acting like one. Try our brand new product, Man in a Can. This barely legal concoction comes in several invigorating flavors, such as aftershave, motor oil, and beer.
Stings the nostrils in a good way.
This stuff will make you a damn sexual tyrannosaurus.
Time to man up. Get Man in a Can today.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Ball.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
All right, we're back here on All Noise Radio on the Zuki and Ruggs Show. We're going to talk about yesterday's exciting games in the NFL, starting with the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. We're going to touch on that. Unfortunately for the New York Giants, that's a tough loss. Tony Romo proved myself wrong, especially. I won't mock you too much though, Ruggies, but he especially proved me wrong. I've bashed Tony Romo countless times, as many people have, and he stuck it to us. All those Tony Romo doubters or guys that called him a loser and choke artist. And
well, we did say before Thanksgiving he's one of the best.
He is dynamic.
So it isn't
before
Thanksgiving yet, so we're still okay.
And that's one thing I was actually going to say, Rug. Good point. I was actually out for the game at a bar. I was at Hooters in Milford. And these Cowboy fans started celebrating. And I looked around. I was with my buddy who's a Giant fan. I said, losers celebrate in November. Winners celebrate in February. Remember that.
Good point.
So, great win for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think it's always sweet for them and vice versa when you bury your division rival. Yeah. And they pretty much bury the New York Football Giants.
For the Giants.
Pretty much, barring a losing streak from the Eagles and Giants, which how many games are they really going to lose? And they play each other one time, so it's a guaranteed win for one of them there.
Unless Green Bay and Minnesota.
Right. Or a punt fumble away from a tie like Denver and New England we're heading toward. But yeah, just nice win for the Dallas Cowboys. Gotta say, I buried Kevin Gilbride, and I got to go back to it. This guy is a joke. This guy's play calling is ridiculous. I mean, he runs the ball on passing downs. I don't know what this guy's thinking at times. This Kevin Gilbride, I'm sorry, Ruggs. Time to pull the plug on Gilbride is now.
6 goal-to-go plays in the first half and no passes into the end zone.
Come on. And
2 field goals.
And you got a two-time Super Bowl MVP quarterback. Come on. His play calling is ridiculous. And like I said, Kevin Gilbride, good luck in the unemployment line. And you'll be right next to that bum in Detroit that I talked about last week. Hey, Jim Schwartz.
Wow, what a bad loss.
Hey, Jimmy, you're going to be the best-looking guy on the unemployment line, buddy.
They just don't want to take this division.
You know what you're going to see? You know what you're going to see next year this time? Up next on Hardcore Pawn, Jim Schwartz visits Les Gold. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see Jim Schwartz at Hardcore Pawn, you stooge. Anywho, back to Gilbride, or back to the Giants. Enough of Gilbride, too, making me nauseous. But unfortunately for the Giants, time for some changes over there. And the defense, can you guys make a stop? Can you cover Des Bryant? I mean, I hear Antrell Roll all the time every week on FAN, doing his post-game talk with...
he had a rough game, too.
Ooh, come Antrell, come on, buddy. Do something, bump him. Do something.
They play him like he's a corner, and it's not his fault because that's not really his...
Yeah, right, he's a safety.
He's a safety.
But he was getting
He needs some help covering a receiver like Des Bryant.
Right. I know he was there because of injury, but just a terrible loss for the Giants. And again, just like last week when we touched on the Drew Brees situation, here come the refs again, costing the team a game. They hit Romo, and it's a penalty, and the turnover's negated, which was big for the Giants. Matthias Kiwanuka there committed a couple dumb penalties. And it's too bad. It was the 0-6 Giants showed up yesterday. The undisciplined.
Yeah.
Bad play calling, turnovers, the Victor Cruz turnover. My God, it was just a real weird game for the Giants. And
they had delay of game penalties, false starts, all the old things they do when they're not going well.
Right. I mean, just a terrible loss for the New York Giants. And what are you gonna do? You look toward next year. I mean, Giants are still gonna play hard, but just a real bad loss for the Giants. Just they shot themselves in the foot again and again and again. Real sloppy, real ugly, and they still had a chance. They still only lose by 3 points, but a loss is a loss, and a big win for Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys to tie the Philadelphia Eagles for first place there, and which was a great game. Did you see the stat, Ruggs? They had the same amount of offensive plays, and they controlled it. They controlled the clock for like pretty much the same amount of time. It was like as even as you can get statistically.
Right.
It was unreal. In that regard, it was a great game, but fortunately, like I said, for the Giants, just a real sloppy game. That's a hard pill to swallow for the New York Giants on that one.
You know what I learned from watching football this weekend especially, but that game is a good example of it. If you don't pressure the quarterback and get pressure on the quarterback, you do not win. You cannot win without getting pressure on the quarterback. Teams that can do it without blitzing are great teams. Teams that need to blitz to get pressure on the quarterback but still do it are good teams, and teams that can't get pressure on the quarterback at all are teams that don't make the playoffs and are bad teams, and that's what the Giants were yesterday because Romo picked them apart on that last drive. Even on a 3rd and 11, they couldn't get any heat on him. He still was able to go back and hit Dez, make this chains move. I think they had a 3rd and 8 on the same drive, and they converted. Yeah, they made great plays. I don't want to take the credit away from Dallas. Dez Bryant made a couple nice catches. Romo made put the throws right where they needed to be.
Yep.
But he had no one in his face. He had no one breathing down his neck.
And did you hear? Great, Ruggs. That's a great point, Ruggs. Unbelievable point there. And did you hear the Bob Papa call on the Romo touchdown to Witten? He was saying, I think it was the Witten touchdown or one of the calls that they had. I was listening to the game on the radio. As I was driving to Hooters, as I previously mentioned, and he sat there, and you could hear it even in his voice. He's like, Romo in the pocket has all day. He kind of said it like condescendingly, like has all day to throw, and then he throws he makes the play. That spoke volumes of, just like you said, you nailed it, Ruggies. They didn't put pressure on Romo in key situations. You're right, man. It's a good point.
And
I can't believe I'm saying that about the New York Giants, the same team that crushed Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. And that's the reason why they have 2 rings is because of their pass
pressure, right. Especially up the middle. I mean,
right.
I just don't know where that's gone. They have a lot of the same personnel too.
Tuck got old. Pierre-Paul
that's what it is.
Hate to say it. I hate to say it. I don't know if he's damaged goods or what, but he hasn't been the same player since the back injury, and they're not as good. Human Euro is obviously not there, and he was kind of past his prime anyway.
As we're seeing this year in Atlanta. I mean, I can't blame him for their problems because he's one-man army over there.
Right.
He's playing statistically. He's playing well. But he's not, he's not a cornerstone.
He's not what he was. He's not what he was. Those days are over. But yeah, anyhow, great win for the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously the other game, which was a great football game on Sunday night, the New England Patriots do what they always seem to do. They beat Peyton Manning, the Denver Broncos. Looks like Peyton Manning now falls to 4-10 in his career against the New England Patriots. Is that correct, Ruggies? 4-10?
That's correct. And it started off as a snoozer, but really got good in the second half.
When they took the early lead, obviously, and New England's shooting themselves. Another team that was just
Stephen Ridley. Oh, my God.
What we'll get to him. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's just running his way out of the NFL.
They have to build a doghouse outside of the doghouse for him.
Oh, my God. Unreal. It's too bad. The sad thing is he's really talented.
Oh, great.
He's a tremendous talent. It's just he cannot hold that damn football. I don't know what it is, but he just, he's got butterfingers. I don't know.
I hope he can become like Tiki Barber and just get over it and have a great late career.
Yeah. I think he can still be good. I think this week, where are you going to go? Are you going to go to Brandon Bolden? Brandon Bolden's not a 25 carry back.
No, he's
LeGarrette Blount. They're going to have to go back to Ridley. Yeah. I can't see them having success at Brandon Bolden and LeGarrette Blount. No. Vereen's great out of the backfield, but he's more of a receiving guy. Mm-hmm. He's more of a receiving back.
He's better being like a Sproles. And I think, like you said, Bolden, I'll just parallel him to my team. I think he's like a Jacquizz Rodgers.
Yeah,
he's not really a feature back.
No, he's not. So, anyway, these guys, the Patriots were shooting themselves in the foot. And I didn't really call it, but I looked at it like this. I said, the New England Patriots are not going to get crushed here. They're not. They have too much pride, and halftime came at the perfect time. Yeah. These guys are going to – in the half, it was really the proverbial tale of two halves. They went to halftime there. They collected themselves. They regrouped, and we all saw what happened there. Tom Brady came out slinging, and Peyton Manning got cold and stiff, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And
Just looked miserable on the sidelines,
He did. He did not look comfortable. But that's what happens when you have to go to Foxborough every single year. Thank you very much, NFL schedule makers. Yeah, the Patriots aren't an NFL favorite franchise. No. What a coincidence. The coincidence that Peyton Manning has to go to Foxborough in the cold and blustery, in a cold, blustery night.
Late season game, too.
Yeah, please. Wait, what a coincidence. And guess where Denver's going to be traveling to next year as well? You'll never guess. You'll never guess where Denver's going to be going next year.
Gillette Stadium?
How'd you guess it? Oh, my God. You're a genius.
What part of the year? It's got to be early in the season, right? When it's still nice out? September?
In the middle of December, we get caught out in the snow.
Well, it can't be any colder in the middle of December next year than it was
Watch the wind blow in 90 miles per hour. Yeah, it's a joke. Not to make excuses for Peyton, but I just wanted to point that out, that it just seems like every year Peyton Manning's going to Gillette Stadium.
It's like the league's testing him to say, you got to win one of these games. We're going to keep putting you in there until you do.
He has 2 of them out of 10.
Yeah.
Come on. But anyhow, it was a great football game. Tom Brady had a great second half, which we knew Brady was. Listen, the Denver Broncos defense is not very good. We all know that. We've all seen that the last month or so. They played very well in the first half, creating turnovers, which, if you create turnovers, the score is going to be in your favor. You're going to have a chance to win the game. They weren't creating turnovers in the second half, and they were getting beat.
Yeah, they figured out a way to block Von Miller.
Yeah, exactly. They made an adjustment, and that's what great coaches do at halftime. They make an adjustment, and the New England Patriots did so. Great job by them. Couple bounces here and there. Including the last play of the game. I don't know if I want to kill Wes Welker in overtime with that punt. What do you think, Ruggies? Do you clear it out of the way there? Do you say get out of the way sooner, or did Welker? What do you think on that? I was kind of in the middle. I was like, you see him doing it. You see him with his hand saying get out of the way, but did he do it too late? Should he have run up and just fair caught the ball? I thought he should have just run up and fair caught it.
Yeah, I do too.
In my opinion, he should have just done that.
Yeah, I said that when it happened. I thought that he made an error letting it bounce.
Yeah.
Even just for the field position, because he was giving up. He was giving up the 10 yards, even if it doesn't get touched.
That was bewildering to me.
In overtime, you don't want to have the ball inside the 10.
Yeah, and I had a feeling. I was like, didn't you have that sick feeling that something was going to happen for the Patriots? Something good was going to happen for the Patriots. I really did. And on that punt, I just had a feeling like something's going to happen here. And I heard the fans chanting, Welker. Well, I'm telling you, they felt it too. I had a feeling something was going to happen. And sure as hell it happened. So,
he dropped a couple key passes. He just didn't have a night to remember.
No, he didn't. And I will kill Peyton Manning on one thing. If there's one thing I'm going to kill Peyton on, I'm not going to kill his stats. I know he only threw for 150 yards. I'm not going to kill his stats because he did have a beautiful drive to tie the game when they were down 31-24. He had a nice drive and tied the game at 31. I am going to kill him on one thing. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most passive players in a crunch time situation. How in the world do you give that ball to your running back who's on one leg, who's running his heart out, okay, who ran for over 200 yards, no Sean Moreno. What a great game. And unfortunately, it looks like he got injured. I don't know the severity of the injury as of right now. He gets hurt there in overtime. Comes back in the game, which he only came back to pass block. That's when he gets hurt, he limps off the field. I'm like, okay, that's it for Moreno. The guy ran himself out of gas. He's done all he can do.
Him on his back his back last night.
Absolutely, he absolutely did. And he limps back on the field. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, first of all, I said he's just there to pass block. They don't trust this C.J. Anderson to pass block. Okay, you give him the ball on 1st and 10. He loses a yard. Of course, he's on one leg. But Peyton, I know you're not listening, but I'm going to speak, in general terms here. Peyton, bro, you give it to him again on 2nd and 11. I really thought they had a chance to win the game. He hits Tammy on that beautiful pass there to get him to the 40. Then, as I said, he gives the ball to Moreno, loses a yard. You give it to him again. Really, Peyton? It's hard for guys like me who love you to stick up for you when you do dumb stuff like that. And that's stupid. Really. Yeah. Peyton Manning, for as smart as he is, that was one of the stupidest decisions I've seen in a long time. You can't give the ball on 2nd and 11 when you're trying to into the wind.
Right. I was just going to say that. Good point. You can't tell me he was trying to protect the field goal because there's no way you're kicking the field goal into the win from the 40.
Yeah, right.
You're not kicking a 55-yard field goal into that win.
Right. And I'm like, you give it to him again? And I'm like, come on. and he gets 3 yards, 3rd and 8, and he throws a 6-yard pass to Welker. Even if Welker catches that ball, it's 4th and 2. You're at about the, what,
35? They would have had to go for it, I think.
Yeah, it's still a 52-yarder. Yeah. What are you doing there? And that's I love Peyton Manning. In my opinion, no disrespect to Tom Brady or the New England Patriots. Peyton Manning's the best quarterback I've ever seen, in my opinion. That he really is. Taking away the rings, which really don't mean much. I'm sorry to say. They don't mean much. Taking away all of that, he's the greatest I've ever seen. That was terrible judgment. You cannot give the ball to a one-legged running back on 2nd and 11. No? Am I right, Ruggies?
Yo, I agree totally.
What do you take away from that game? What do you think was a big turning point of that game? If I could ask you, anything you think of that game that really where it turned for you?
Well, probably for me it was just when, they just could not stop, any of the wideouts in the second half. I mean, they couldn't cover every 3rd down that Brady had to convert. He did. And, they just started to dominate the time of possession, and I thought that just changed the game right there. I thought it was right away. Early in the 3rd quarter, I thought the game changed. Just right when they marched down, got the touchdown, got the ball right back. See, Manning needed to keep them off the field, and he wasn't able to do it. And, a lot of it was, his accuracy of his passes was not there. Like you said, he only threw for 186 yards, I think was for his final stats. Some of those passes look like, when he was throwing them into the wind, just floated. I mean, he was lucky he didn't get some of those passes picked off. And, I just thought that, Brady, like you said, I mean, I'll take a little different angle of what you said. The greatest quarterback of this era very well could be Peyton Manning. If you had to give me a drive, though, and I had to go one drive and to take anybody to go down the field with it, I'm probably not picking Peyton Manning because I've seen him in huge situations. In the Super Bowl against the Saints, he had to go down and do a similar situation where they had control of that game for most of it. They let it kind of slip. They got behind. They had a chance to go down and take the game at the end. He throws the interception to Porter, runs it back for the touchdown. They lose. I've seen him in situations where he's had a chance. Baltimore in the playoffs last year could have gotten them before they ended up losing that game in overtime. Denver had the football, could not convert.
Agreed.
Just couldn't keep the chains moving, couldn't make the big throw. Even his brother, has done it time and time again where he's just made those dagger throws against teams. Tom Brady, of course, has done it time and time again.
Forget it.
You never saw Montana miss those opportunities to really just carve somebody up late in the game when he had a chance. Obviously Super Bowl 23 when he marched down against the Bengals. Everybody knows that one. So to me, Peyton Manning still has to prove that he can do that in those big spots. Because the Super Bowl that they won, it really was won by the running game and the defense that day against Chicago.
He did have
he did win the AFC title game. He came all the way back.
Against New England. He had a great
that was his one.
Half.
They asked both guys. I had heard this. They asked Brady and Manning what their most memorable moment was from their matchups together, and they both said that game in 2006.
It was a great game. That was a great football game.
Even though Brady lost it, I think it stuck in his craw, and it still has to this day. And Manning kind of has that.
That was his one, man. That was his one.
That was his. He looks at that as that was the pinnacle, and Brady looks at it as that's the one that he didn't get, and he's made a point to get all the other ones. But
poor Tommy.
But that's more of a winner's mentality, I think, is to remember the one you lost. You get PO'd about the ones you didn't get,
right?
Because you think you should win them all,
right?
And I don't know that Peyton Manning has the same killer instinct.
I agree. Unfortunately for Peyton, I don't know how many times he's been on the best team, to be honest with you. Those Colts defenses stunk for most of those time. Most of the time he was there. Yeah, you're right about that, though. I really can't remember or pinpoint how many classic game-winning drives he's had. I will say that 2006 AFC title game is one.
That was the one, yeah.
That's really the one for him. I really don't remember too many other ones. You're right about that. Unfortunately for Peyton Manning, but he's still a great quarterback. He's still one of the best I've ever seen, in terms of just pure talent and the numbers he's put together. But you're right, in terms of memorable winning moments, he doesn't have too many of those. I can't deny that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. How about that? Do I have to be like Joe Beningo now? Peyton Manning loses again. How about that?
All right, so we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to break down this week's games coming up, and we'll give you our picks, and we'll do that just as soon as these messages are completed.
On All Noise Radio.
On All Noise Radio.
Do you lack
imagination?
When you're thinking of ideas, do you always say, "No"? Do you wish you could be creative and have endless imagination? Then go to your local retail outlet and buy Create-A-Pack. It's the size of a cell phone, but yet as smart as Einstein, Hawking, mixed with Pablo Picasso and Lady Gaga's stylist. Wow, 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 wow! Become a dreamer today. Warning, do not use if you have heart problems, because it works so good, you will have a heart attack.
106 miles to Chicago, got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
All Noise Radio. All noise, all the time.
Hit it.
I'm a soul man.
And welcome back to the Zuki and Ruggs Show. So we are about to give you our picks for week number 13.
Nice.
So already 13. This is, a little bit of the odd week when you make picks because you got games Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, obviously. But you got 3 games on Thursday this week instead of the normal one. So we're going to break down starting right away from Turkey Day. And the opener is a real good one, right,
Oh,
Zook?
yeah. Gobble, gobble, baby. Right in time for a little Thanksgiving breakfast or brunch. Appetizers?
Just eat all day on Thanksgiving, I think.
12:30 game? What are you doing at 12:30 at Thanksgiving?
Well, 12:30 at Thanksgiving.
Maybe some chips and dip?
I might still be on the air doing my high school game, but
look at you.
If I'm done, then I'm driving to New Jersey afterwards, so I'll be on the road most of Thanksgiving. But I'll be listening to the game on the radio, which isn't bad.
12:30, we got the Green Bay Packers, who we'll see if Aaron Rodgers plays. I don't think.
They're saying they don't think so.
I don't think so. Hearing. I don't think so either.
Matt Flynn.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Aaron Rodgers in that one. No way. Yeah, it looks like you're going to get Matt Flynn in the 5-5-1 Green Bay Packers coming off the heels of a tie against.
Only half a game out.
Yeah, only half a game out from the aforementioned.
Your buddy.
My buddy, Jimmy Schwartz, the best coach in the world if you ask him when he's standing in front of a mirror. Heading into Detroit to face the 6-5 Lions. Ruggs, what do you think, man?
I'm going to take Detroit, but I'm telling you, if they don't win this game, I mean, this Schwartz is going to be on the unemployment line if he doesn't win this game because they have to finally take control of this division. Chicago's not going to lose every week, and Green Bay's not going to keep losing every week, especially when Rodgers comes back and just hand this division to them. They're not going to win it with an 8-8 record. They got to start winning some games if they want to win this division. They still look like they have the best chance to do it with the road that they have, but they really need to take a major step by beating Green Bay this week because if Green Bay wins this game, Detroit's just in huge trouble because they have no tiebreakers. They're going to be a half a game down. Really, it'd be like a game and a half down to Green Bay. They don't have the easiest schedule coming in down the stretch either. So they need to win this game. I think they will at home. It's been a long time, though. They've had a real jinx against them on winning Thanksgiving Day. But this is the year. If they're going to get it, it's going to be this one because, I know they felt like they should have won last year's game and they got a little bit of a shaky call against Houston, and they ended up losing that game in overtime. I'm picking Detroit, but I don't feel great about it. Matt Flynn, he's a live arm. He's kind of an unknown factor. Hasn't had a lot of starts. You never know what he can pull off, but I'll take Detroit in this one because they have the more proven players.
I'm with you on that. We remember the last game of the year 2 years ago where Matt Flynn and Matthew Stafford had that head-to-head battle, if you remember. I think Matt Flynn threw for like 500 yards. Stafford threw for like 600 yards.
Last day of the regular season.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, that was a pretty wild and crazy game. As a fan, I'm hoping that for an encore. It may not happen, though. Matt Flynn, it's only his second game played, I think, probably since then. So
his
that
Oakland tenure and the little Buffalo stint didn't go.
Oh, he was with Buffalo. I didn't even know.
he had some team meals with him. And stuff.
Yeah. He went to Duff's with Mario Williams once, and then he picked up a tab and left. I'm going with Detroit. I'm not feeling good about it. Jim Schwartz, we know how I feel about him, but nevertheless, no matter who the coach is there, win the damn game. Just beat Matt Flynn and the Green Bay Packers. I do love what I see from Eddie Lacy. Guy ran his heart out on yesterday. Really played a great game. And I tell you, all the detractors on Eddie Lacy are eating crow right now. The kid looks like a really solid back.
Very good back.
You know, he really does. Great move by the Packers. Great draft pick there. And I'm sure a lot of teams are probably regretting not taking him. And, I really like Detroit there. I'm sure Calvin Johnson will play well. Stafford really shot himself in the foot in that Tampa game yesterday. 4 picks, 1 for a touchdown. The last pick was kind of a fluke.
Yeah, it was off of Calvin Johnson's hands. You can't blame him on that.
Yeah, that was a fluke. I can't kill Stafford on that one. Can't even kill Johnson. Right when he reeled it in, the guy made a great play. Jarred it from his hands. He nailed him in the hands. Ball pops up right to the other guy. So can't kill him on that one. But still, Stafford, way too many turnovers. And you really got to get Reggie Bush a little bit more involved. I mean, he had a decent game yesterday, but didn't have the big game I thought he would. Perhaps he will this week on Thanksgiving. I think Green Bay has trouble with running back, especially coming out of the backfield there. But yeah, I like Detroit here. I think Detroit will right the ship and get a W here. Although I think it will be a good game. I don't think they're going to blow them out by any means because Detroit just doesn't do that. Then we have at 4:30, Ruggs, the upstart Oakland Raiders, who are off the heels of a devastating defeat to the Tennessee Titans. Still in the hunt somewhat. I shouldn't have said upstart. Improving is kind of what I wanted to say there.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. Improving, consistent.
That's a more positive way of saying it.
Yeah, the sucky Oakland Raiders. How about that? They travel to Dallas. Dallas are off the heels, of course, as we covered earlier, an impressive win over the New York Giants. Dallas a 9.5-point favorite here at home, 4:30 game. How can you not pick them? Very favorable game for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I doubt Terrell Pryor is going to play again. Probably not going to, especially in a short week. They're probably going to go back to Matt McGloin. McFadden probably not going to make it either. Again, short week. Why are they going to do it? They're probably going to, and Denarius Moore, Oakland suddenly just riddled with injuries. I mean, unreal. Just really riddled with injuries there. Got to go with Dallas here. They're feeling good. They're all coming off an emotional win. They're feeling good about themselves. They're home, Thanksgiving. I mean, this kind of reeks of a Tony Romo trap game. It really kind of does. I could see Romo coming out there and throwing 4 picks and having a nightmare game. But I don't want to eat crow again. I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. So, in kind of a no-brainer, Ruggies, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys there.
Yeah, I'll take Dallas too, but you said 9.5 points. I'd go Oakland all the way on that. I think this could be a close game. Wouldn't be surprised if it came down to the wire. These teams played a couple years ago. Actually, it's surprised that you get it again so quickly, but they did play, I think, 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
And it was a close game, similar to what I think this year's edition will be.
Oakland almost beat them,
and Oakland did almost beat them. Yep. Dallas pulled it out late. I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of a carbon copy game. I think Matt McGloin, when he's on, can, pose a lot of problems for Dallas because secondary is not great, let's be honest. The Giants weren't able to exploit it yesterday, and maybe the conditions had something to do with it. Maybe the game plan, the offensive coordinator, whatever you want to blame it on, but they just didn't exploit them deep and really, make them cover. I think Oakland, if they're smart, that's what they'll do, and they'll try to win the game that way. But, I just too much doubt. Oakland's defense is really not that good either.
Yeah.
And, you got Des Bryant to cover. You got DeMarco Murray to try to stop. Eventually, that's going to seize the day, I think, and you'll get Dallas, I think, will push through.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then 8:30 game, big one now, especially.
Now it is.
Now it's really a big one. Usually is. I know my family out in Baltimore are going to be pumped up for this one. Both teams, 5-6. The Pittsburgh Steelers now right in the mix of things, facing the Baltimore Ravens, who are 5-6, and also right in the mix of things. You want to talk about a game that's going to feel like an AFC title game. This game is going to have a lot of juice to it. I mean, this game's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be all that, man. It's going to have it's going to be a great football game, and we'll see what happens here. Pittsburgh, they're coming off a very impressive win over the Cleveland Browns. Defense looked great yesterday. Jason Campbell unfortunately couldn't figure out Dick LeBeau's defense, albeit Josh Gordon.
Yeah, then he got hurt. Then he went down with injury.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Yeah,
Brandon Whedon had to come back in the game, and that wasn't pretty.
Right. Well, no, it was not. And Baltimore coming off a drubbing of the Jets there. This is gonna be a tremendous ball game, Ruggies. What do you think, man? What do you got here?
Well, I'll tell you, this is a big one. I'm gonna say this. The winner of this game to me is going to get the 6th seed. I don't want to hear about Tennessee. I know Tennessee right now, if the season ended today,
bold prediction.
Is in. Tennessee is not for real. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy Tennessee. The Tennessee-Oakland game yesterday, the winner was going to be the 6th seed. If the season had ended, neither one of those teams is making the playoffs.
How terrible was that?
The winner of this game, to me, is making the playoffs. I think it's going to be Baltimore. I'm going to side with the champs. I think they're going to sneak their way in. They're dangerous once they're in, as we saw last year, because nobody thought they were going to do much last year either. Don't think they're the same version of the team they were last year. I don't see them making a huge run like they did. But I think they're good enough to win this game. It wouldn't shock me, though, if Pittsburgh pulled it off because, these teams, all these games are always close. This game will be close, and sometimes it's just a bad break. We saw a couple of years ago in this version of the game was like a 6-6 bloodbath slugfest, and then Palomalu got a tipped pass when he blitzed.
That's right.
And ran it back for a touchdown. And just like that, it went from Baltimore maybe driving for a winning field goal. Pittsburgh scored a touchdown. That was the ball game. Mm-hmm. So if something like that happens, certainly it could go Pittsburgh's way. But I'll take Baltimore. I think these teams usually seem to split during the regular season, and Pittsburgh got the first one. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with Baltimore on that. It's not really a scientific reason for it, but just a feeling there. And, I think Baltimore, maybe just, I think it'll be a great battle between Antonio Brown and Torrey Smith. Both teams have started to let their weapons show a little bit in the last couple weeks, and it's really paid off, and they're starting to turn their seasons around. But, if Ray Rice can keep running like Ray Rice, like he has the past 2 weeks, they got a real shot. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
There you go. I think this is going to be one of the classic things in recent memory. For some, I really do. I think it's going to be a great football game. I like what I'm seeing from both teams right now defensively. The Ravens offense still, it's lacking something, but it's a bend but don't break offense. Just don't turn the ball over, and their defense has really stepped up. I'm going to go with the Ravens as well for one reason in particular, not just because they're a deep threat. I like, Jacoby Jones and Torrey Smith, which I think Torrey Smith especially is going to have a big game. We saw Josh Gordon have a big game. And as I said last week, and as we're seeing quite evidently, Pittsburgh has trouble with wide receivers. They don't cover guys like they used to. So I can see Torrey Smith having a big game. He usually has big catches against Pittsburgh historically. I really like them. Ray Rice is the wild card, but one reason in particular that I really like Baltimore, Justin Tucker. He is really on fire right now as a kicker.
That's a good point.
I mean, he really is nailing kicks.
I'd take him any day over Schweissen.
Yeah. I think he's something like, 22 in a row?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He is on fire right now, and I could see Tucker nailing one at the buzzer. I swear to God, I could see Tucker hitting like a 55-yard field goal to win the game.
13-10 or something. Yeah, I agree totally.
I could see it. Even though I think the score's going to be, if the wind and the weather's okay, I think the score's going to be even higher. I could see it. I really do, because these defenses aren't as strong as they once were.
That's true.
But they're so physical, and they're going to be so amped up, just to hit each other and play physical.
You don't have Ray Lewis and James Harrison and those guys out there anymore.
Right. Right, exactly. But it's still going to be it's not going to be a shootout by any means. But it's I don't think it's going to be your typical 13-10 game as we're accustomed to seeing. But I do like Baltimore as well to win that football game and get to 6-6. And I'm with you, Ruggies. If they get in, they're dangerous. And I tell you one team that doesn't want to see them in their building, the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They do not want to see. They do not want.
I don't know that Denver wants them in there either.
Yeah.
After last year.
Yeah, perhaps not, but especially New England. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a great football game. Then we go to the Sunday games, 1 o'clock. These are the upstart Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All of a sudden, Greg Schiano.
3 wins in a row.
All of a sudden, Greg Schiano, boy, his resume is in his drawer. The hot seat's got a little cooler there in Tampa. And you know what? Rightfully so. I mean, I buried Schiano early in the year, and I tell you what, they're winning for him. And you know what impressed me about Schiano? I'll just touch on it for a couple seconds here. At his lowest of lows, that Monday night game, was it the Thursday night game against Carolina when the fans were holding the signs, they were wearing the bags, and they had the billboard. He handled it with such class. He really did, man. He didn't sit there and he didn't bash the fans. He didn't say, "Oh, you guys are, not giving me a shot." He didn't cry. He didn't complain. He didn't whine. He didn't go on a rant to the media like blaming anyone. He took it like a man, and he stayed the course. And now he's won a few games in a row here. and his team is playing for him. They're playing hard, and they're winning some football games. And I think he got a raw deal. Honestly, looking back now, he was right about Josh Freeman. The guy's a bum. And he was playing with a crappy quarterback, and he knew it. And he had a raw deal. But we'll see what happens at the end of the year. But unfortunately for Coach Schiano and the upstart Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have to go to the Enfuego Carolina Panthers, who are coming off the heels of a very improbable win. Hats off to the Carolina Panthers yesterday. I mean, you want to talk about a gutsy win. That's a gutsy win yesterday, man. In Miami, Cam Newton, I don't know if I thought he was playing with a concussion. Perhaps he wasn't when he took a helmet to the mouth and didn't get a call, by the way. No flag. Still pulled out a victory. Nice job by the Carolina Panthers. That's kind of, I don't want to use this term. Maybe I'm being premature here. That's kind of a championship victory, man. And those are the kind of wins like championship teams get.
Yeah, it's winning when you're not playing your best. That's what great teams do. You
know? Unreal. Hats off to them. And in my opinion, I think they're going to keep it going. I mean, I think Tampa's definitely going to give them a fight. You know, I don't think Tampa's going to roll over because they're playing too well right now to do so. But I like Carolina right now. It just seems like they're winning. And, of course, we didn't really even touch on the Monday night game last week because we were here last Monday, and, you know, we didn't even touch on that. That was a very good win, you know, besides the controversy at the end. But, hey, they don't have to apologize. They won the game. And you know, in impressive fashion, you know, scoring with a minute to go against New England, as we all saw. Anyhow, I like Carolina to win this game, Ruggies. They're rolling, man, and they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. New Orleans has to be careful because, you know, Carolina's breathing down their neck. I'll take Carolina in this one. You know, Tampa Bay's won 3 in a row, and they really could have won 4 in a row. The Seattle game they had.
Yes.
And they let that go. That's kind of when things started to, you know, turn around for them. I think they started to buy into Schiano after that game. They said, maybe this guy knows what he's doing. He got us prepared and ready for this game. We came out and played with a lot of heart. We let it, you know, slip away at the end, but it was very impressive. Then they go on the 3-game winning streak. They're gonna give Carolina problems. I wouldn't be shocked if they did win, but I think that Carolina now has really got it figured out. And you want to talk about, you know, coaches trading hot seats. You know, I think Schiano had taken Ron Rivera's hot seat from him because he was, remember, at the beginning of the year was under a lot of fire. Now, I mean, you know, he's up for coach of the year.
Right.
And Schiano's starting to get his team going. So, I mean, you know, the hot seat can be like a hot potato. It can get passed around and doesn't always stay in one place.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to take Carolina in this game, especially being home.
Nice. Then we have another 1:00 here. Not a very eventful game, but we'll touch on it real quickly. The Jacksonville Jaguars, off the heels of a win, which they may have just knocked themselves out of the Jadeveon Clowney sweepstakes with that one in Houston. Taking on the Cleveland Browns, who we, you know, spoke of a little bit, you know, coming off really a season-ending defeat. I mean, that kind of ended any, you know, small chance of playoffs they had. You know, really they really got stomped by the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. In Cleveland, I don't know, Ruggies. I'm going to go with Cleveland, but you know, that's about it.
Yeah, I'll same thing. We won't spend any time on this. I'll take Cleveland. It's really just a you know, a matter of them being home and, you know, maybe a better defense.
Yeah.
That's,
you know, we'll see about Josh Gordon. Maybe if Josh Gordon doesn't play, Jacksonville's got a shot. We don't know the severity of Josh Gordon's injury yet, but most likely, yeah, you know.
The weather will be a factor, too. If it's, you know, benign conditions, I like, you know, chances for Jacksonville to pull the upset. But, you know, if the weather's cold, blustery, you know.
We just don't see them moving. Yeah, just don't see them moving the ball in Cleveland's defense. Cleveland's defense is pretty good. They don't have an Antonio Brown like Pittsburgh did yesterday.
Exactly.
You know, and Joe Hayden should not, you know, lock down Cecil Shorts III. I mean, I don't think Joe Hayden's going to lose any sleep over Cecil Shorts. Anyway, another 1:00 game here. Here you go. This is actually now turned into a big game. The 6-seeded Tennessee Titans come unreal. This is a team that myself and Ruggies kind of buried last week because they, you know, came off a terrible loss to, well, guess who they're playing this week? The Indianapolis Colts in Indy, who are also coming off a terrible loss at the hands of the Arizona Cardinals. Who saw that coming? I mean, we picked Arizona, but geez.
Not by that score.
We didn't see that coming. That's actually one of the games we actually got right. One of 3, I think. We got right. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was my former quarterback in Buffalo. Guy plays with a lot of heart. But I just don't see them winning this game. I know the Colts are scaring me. They really are. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Colts defensively. And again, I'm going to say it again. We said it last week. That Reggie Wayne injury has been huge. I mean, it's been borderline devastating for them. It really has been. It's getting bad now.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how to recover from it.
No, and defensively, I mean, they just. I mean, Robert Mathis is playing his heart out, but these guys, they can't cover anyone. They can't do nothing. They can't stop the run. And I know I just said I'm picking Indy, but they're home. I still think Andrew Luck will be able to. I think he'll suck it up. He's got a lot of heart, the kid. He's home. It's they want to win this game. They know. And I don't think they're going to have 2 bad performances in a row. Well, 2.5, 3.5, or 2.5 because they had a bad first half against Tennessee. I'm going to go with the Colts here, but it wouldn't shock me if the Titans win this game. I mean, because they had them dead to rights 2 weeks ago that Thursday night. I think it's gonna be a tremendous football game, but I'm gonna go with the Colts. Damn it.
I'm going to echo your sentiments almost exactly. I think I would be surprised not at all if Tennessee won, but I'll take the Colts. And this is when you're going to find out a little bit more about Andrew Luck, though, because he really has to put up or shut up right here. I mean, not that I shouldn't say shut up like he's a big talker or
right.
anything, but it's like, show us what you have right now, youngster, because we have to have this one. We've let the division kind of back into it, and it's really not a good division at all. I mean, they should be 5 or 6 games clear of this division, and they're not. They're still
only 2.
This Tennessee's still very much alive, not only for the wild card, but for the division if they got the win in this one. But I think the Colts, kind of like the last game where Tennessee was, kind of right up on their heels, and then they kind of swatted them back down with that. I think that'll happen again. I think the Indy will figure out a way to get this one. Tennessee plays Indy very tough, especially in Indy, though, in years past. So even back when they had McNair, back when they had Hasselbeck, they always seem to, play well at the Dome. But I will give Indy this one. I think they're going to pull it out.
All right, Ruggies, another big game here between the 5 and 6s. Look at this. The Miami Dolphins travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets. Geno Smith struggling, man. The Jets are struggling as well. As we covered a little bit earlier, as I said a few minutes ago, Jets got manhandled by the Baltimore Ravens yesterday, and Miami, tough loss, which is nothing new with the Miami Dolphins. It seems like when they lose a game, it's a tough one against Carolina. What do you think, Ruggies? It should be a good game. The Jets are favored by 1. The Jets are home. What do you think there, Ruggies?
I'm going to take Miami in this one. I really think Geno Smith has just hit the wall. He's really in a little bit of trouble for even holding on to the job right now. I mean, there's a lot of talk about maybe going to Sims. They're not running the football as well as they had in weeks past. I think they're going to if they can get back to grounding and pounding it like they like to do, and they can really, move. Now, that's a good Miami defense, but they're really a pass rushing first type defense. That's where their strengths are. If they really get disciplined and run the football between the tackles and play, the solid defense that they're able to play, I think the Jets should win the game, but they never do it. I mean, they did it once. They did it in the Saints game, and it paid big dividends, but I haven't seen that a lot from them. The commitment to running the ball game. Morningweg likes to tinker. He likes to do some things that maybe outside of the ability level, maybe not the ability level of Geno Smith, but maybe the comfort level. And he's still a rookie, remember. It's still only, his, we're going into his 12th year. Still very early in his development. And, I think, the Miami is going to win because I think the big plays in the offensive game come from Miami's side of the ball with Mike Wallace, with, Brian Hartline and company. I like the way, Tannehill's playing right now as compared to the way Geno Smith's playing. And, if you want some turnovers from the defense, I think, Miami's got a lot better chance of turning over in a big spot, turning over Geno Smith than vice versa.
Yeah, and well said, Ruggies. I'm actually going to – sounds crazy, but I'm actually going to go with the New York Jets only because they're home. I mean, they play – it seems like when Geno Smith and the Jets get home, they seem to be comfortable there. It really depends on the Chris Ivory injury. I don't know how serious that injury is. Miami cannot stop the run. I could even see if they have to go back to Bilal Powell. I could see Powell having a good game. I know it sounds crazy. He hasn't been good since about week 3, but I could see even Powell having a good game against Miami. They cannot stop the run at all. I could even see Geno Smith having success running with the football. But you're right about Miami's defense. They can't get to the quarterback, and Geno Smith is just really struggling right now. I kind of don't know why I'm even picking the Jets, to be honest with you, but it's the same. It's the same thinking about Miami. It just right when you think Miami's ready to get something going, they don't. They have a bad loss, a bad turnover, bad sack. Something happens to them. Offensive lineman calls his buddy the N-word, or some crazy stuff always happens in Miami. I don't know what's going on there.
No, but then when you're ready to bury them, they come back out of nowhere and win a game. So
yeah, they pull out
the very tough.
They pull out the San Diego game. Yeah, I think it's going to be a wild game. But I like the Jets. This point of the year, December, Miami going there. I know it's kind of a cliche. It's cold weather. They're a Florida team, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm just going with the Jets. But I could see Miami winning the game. Yeah, I just don't think they'll be able to run the ball, which they haven't anyway. But especially against the Jets, so that means. And they can't protect Tannehill, against a pretty good Jet front there. And I'm sure Rex is going to design some blitzes to come after him. And I'm sure Rex smells blood with that offensive line, especially if Pouncey's out again, which he might be, but it depends. We'll see if Mike Pouncey's back for the Dolphins under center. But I like the Jets. I think the Jets are going to win the game.
Well said, Zookster.
Yeah. This is another huge football game. I mean, it's a big one. Arizona, the 7-4 Arizona Cardinals, coming off an impressive victory against the Indianapolis Colts, travel to Philadelphia to take on the first-place Philadelphia Eagles, who are coming off a bye week, in order to watch Dallas tie them for the division. So now this is a must-win for pretty much both teams here. The Eagles definitely don't want to get to 6-6 here, especially. And another thing, they're going to have to watch Dallas on Thanksgiving. So that's going to be even more pressure on them. They're going to have to say, oh, man, especially if Dallas beats Oakland, which they should, for crying out loud. And then Dallas will have sole possession of first place in the AFC East. That could even make the game, even more intense, because Philly will really be playing for first place then. And Arizona is playing for their playoff lives. They did, they made a very good case for themselves yesterday. Really just, as I said, thrashed the Colts and really made a statement. They really did. I mean, Chuck Pagano went from giving Bruce Arians a big hug before the game. He didn't want to look at him after the game.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah,
he was. I thought
he was kind of, okay, Bruce, enough. You gave me the big hug before. Yeah, he kind of was like, okay, Bruce, you kicked my ass here now. You were coach of the year on, last year when I was gone. Now you kicked my ass. Maybe the Yeah, I think he was. He might have had that in the back of his mind. Maybe the Colts kept the wrong guy. Even though that would be a PR disaster to fire a guy with leukemia. But maybe the Colts got rid of the wrong guy. Not got rid of, but you know what I mean. Maybe the Colts, But anyhow,
I could change the T-shirt to Chuck Wrong instead of Chuck Strong.
That is wrong. I'm such a scumbag for saying they should. I'm such a bad person. But this is going to be a tremendous football game. I tell you, Philly's favored by 3.5 as of right now. It's Monday. Of course, that line's going to change probably. I'm going to go with Arizona. I like what I'm seeing from Arizona Ruggies. I know it's in Philly. So I could be wrong. Let's see how they travel, but I don't. They got something cooking. The running game's a little scary. Mendenhall had a great game yesterday, but we'll see if we can do that again. I wouldn't bank on it. But Arizona's defense has been tremendous. We saw it. They shut down the Colts running game yesterday. LaShawn McCoy's no Donald Brown, as we know, but I'm sorry, Donald Brown's no LaShawn McCoy. However you want to say it. You know what I meant. I meant it the other way around. But so I mean, of course, the test is going to be a lot tougher to stop LaShawn McCoy and Nick Foles. They're coming off a bye, so they have a week to, get healthy. But I just like Arizona. They're really, they got it cranking right now on defense, and I think offensively, Palmer's really rolling right now. Fitzgerald looks healthy. I mean, we got to remember that Eagle defense wasn't really that good, really, before even the bye. And the Eagle defense is not very good. I like the Cardinals a lot. I also like another kicker that's just kicking the lights out, Jay Feely. This guy can't miss. He's 4 for 4 like every week.
He is a top-notch kicker.
Yeah, I could see him nailing some kicks, depending on the weather there in Philly. But I like the Cardinals. They're rolling, man.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals too. You got to remember too, Philly just recently broke a long streak of home losses. So I mean, they're not any sure bet to pick at home. I know it's a little different since they've gone to Nick Foles. They've been much better, and they do have the bye week to get ready to throw some new wrinkles at this Arizona defense. But like you said, I think the defense is key, and I also think they're going to have a hard time covering Floyd and Fitzgerald. Who's going to cover these guys? If Carson Palmer is not, turning the ball over left and right, I think they're going to have, a lot of success through the air. It'll take away from maybe some of their deficiencies on the ground, and they can win just with a little, a lot of Fitzgerald and a lot of Floyd and a lot of defense. I think they'll win the game that way. I like Arizona too, and special teams. I think they're much better special teams all around. Feely, you said also, but they're kick returning with Peterson,
yeah.
and all that, the punting, the whole special teams unit, I think, is superior on Arizona's side of the ball.
Well said. Well said. We got another 1:00 here. Chicago, the 6-5 Bears travel to Minnesota. The Bears, who are coming off a really painful loss at the hands of the Rams there, really did not look defensively. Ruggs, defensively, they look like a mess, did they not? Oh my God. I mean, what's his name? Cunningham I torched him. He looked like Adrian Peterson on him. My God. The Bears are in just a complete disarray. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for Jim Schwartz, who still can't get by these guys, can't separate himself from the Chicago Bears. Heading out to Minnesota to face the 2-8-1 Minnesota Vikings, who couldn't even beat an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers team.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this game is a mess. If Jay Cutler plays, which they're saying he will, and I'm sure Jay Cutler, after watching that game in St. Louis, is probably saying, you know what, maybe I can just try to suck it up. Even with McCown, I got to go with Chicago. I know they had a couple scares. Forte, that injury looked terrible. Did you see that? That injury looked bad, and he was able to come back out there. So that was a good sign for Chicago.
Yeah, they're not winning anything without him.
No, they are not. And so I think Chicago's going to stay alive here. I think Chicago will win this game, stay alive, get to 7-5, try to put some pressure on Detroit.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bears too. I mean, I'm not feeling great about it though. I mean, it's another dome game going indoors. They got blown out by the Rams, but the Rams just have something going with Kellen Clemens. I mean, a guy we just buried and kind of laughed at a few weeks ago, and he's gone on a real run. I don't see Minnesota with that kind of attack. Obviously Adrian Peterson, if he, just has one of those days, and the Bears could be in for it. And they did just get run all over by Zach Stacy and company and the Rams. I'm going to take the Bears, though. I mean, the Vikings just aren't a good football team. It's just hard to pick them.
I agree. I want to pick the Vikings. I could see Peterson running for like 250.
You can't lose that game. Yesterday they were up 23-7, and then they get overtime, and they have a chance to go in after.
My God!
After Green Bay had kicked the field goal, they have a chance to win it. They can't punch it in. They settle for a tie, and it's just it's not a good football team.
Yeah. If Minnesota had won that game impressively, I think I would have gone towards them. But
I might have too.
And I still think, nevertheless, Peterson is going to have a monster game. I mean, he's probably salivating right now. He's probably looking at it like, oh my God, I'm going to try to go for 300. Honestly. And if you're the Vikings, what's your strategy? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So I could see Minnesota winning the game. They're just like we're saying, just a very bad football team. It's kind of hard to confidently pick them. Here's a game, 1:00 at Houston, which before the season started looked like it was going to be a great football game. Not looking good now. The New England Patriots, coming off a great victory last night against Denver, traveling to Houston, who's coming off a terrible loss to the hands of the Jaguars. Well, how bad do you think New England beats Houston here, Ruggies?
Pretty bad. I'd say if the spread was 17, I'd still take New England.
I agree. Fantasy owners are loving this matchup. Whoever, if you got a Patriot, a guy like me, I got Tom Brady on one of my teams. I can't wait for this game to come. Can't come any faster. That's too bad for Houston. We spoke about it earlier. I think we were talking about it off the air. Just Kubiak. I hate to say it, but this is just getting ridiculous now. I mean, they have no quarterback, and now they're in the Jadeveon Clowney sweepstakes. I wonder if they will take him if they get the first pick. They're another team, along with the Falcons, I really can't see winning a game. I mean, if any game they were going to win was that Jacksonville game, one of them at least, maybe they beat Jacksonville next week. I don't think so, though, man.
Yeah, I don't either.
They just don't look good at all. And if Jacksonville wins that game, forget it. They're out of the Clowney sweepstakes, which may not be a bad thing anyway. They might get a quarterback or somebody else later, but
it's a good first round, I think, coming up. I don't think you have to be the number one pick this year.
But I tell you what, we were talking about it off the air. We'll say it now. Clowney and Watt together.
Wow.
That would be something. That would be something. That would be
and they'll get Cushing back off of the injury.
Yes.
And
wow. Maybe they'll just build up the defense, Say, screw it. Let's just have a dynamic defense. Then try to be like the Ravens when Flacco was young. We'll have a great defense, a great running game, and we'll try to win around Keenum. Just try to build a team and
build them up.
Yeah, let's see what happens. All right, Ruggs. Well, we got to take a break, and after this break, we're gonna pick up the rest of the games on All Noise Radio.
The Z105.6 The Rock presents the Irishman's Olympics. I'm not Irish.
But you don't have to be either if you think you got what it takes to do car bombs, flip cup, and be a champion bear pong player in the same night, and have a chance to win a Ford F-50. If you do, head on down to Black Bar and Grill.
Sign up starts February 28th. $10 admission. Get a free bar t-shirt. Sign up on Wednesday 7 to 9. Get a free app. Special giveaways. Beads, sunglasses, and bear. One free drink per entry. Spend $100. Get $10 off your tab.
And meet me, Visual Leprechaun.
Don't take my gold.
Irishman Olympics, brought to you by Black Bar and Grill. Guinness, Mad. Go to our website at Z105.6.com for more details. The Z105.6 The Rock.
You took my gold, didn't you? Give it back, 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 give it back.
All Noise Radio.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
The noise you can't ignore.
All right, we're back here on the Zuki and Ruggs Show. We got the 405 games. We got St. Louis. St. Louis, who suddenly, talking about, I got to say, Jeff Fisher, great job coaching by Jeff Fisher.
He is a great coach.
Unreal. You lose Steven Jackson, you let Amendola go, you lose Sam Bradford, and he's still winning games. And hats off to Kellen Clemens, man. Oh, my God. This kid who, like you said, Ruggs, we laughed at, we mocked. Man, a kid. Well, I should say kid. He's not a kid, but he's playing hard. He's giving his team a chance to win, and he's winning football games. Nice job by him. We'll see how serious the Zach Stacy injury is. We really don't know yet. It's Monday, so we don't really know how bad. Right. We don't know how bad the injury is yet. But nevertheless, the Rams are playing really well. They go out to the 6-4 Niners. Of course, we don't know what the Niners are doing. Yeah, we assume they're going to win, but either they may not. We never know. But they head out to San Fran. I got to go with the Niners. They tend to own the Rams. It just seems like they always beat the Rams twice, kind of like Montana used to do back in the old days. They just crush them. I just think they're not going to have an answer. I can see Gore having a big game. I don't know if Crabtree's ready yet. I think he's still a ways away. Crabtree has great history against the Rams. Kaepernick's definitely if there's a game he's definitely going to miss them, which he's been missing them all year. It's this one because Crabtree just owns the Rams. So. Go with San Fran here to get a W, but, I could see the Rams giving them a fight. If the game was in St. Louis, I'd really, really like the Rams. But it's out in San Fran. Yeah, I don't know if the Rams will, have that much success. What do you think, Ruggies?
Well, I like to say that I think that Jeff Fisher's kind of the anti-Jim Schwartz. I think he wins with little talent, and Schwartz kind of loses with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, night and day there for the way the coaching philosophies are. I'm going to take the Niners too. Either way, if they're 7-4, you could say that they're on a roll. If they come in off a loss to the Redskins and they're 6-5, we'll say they're desperate. Either way, they got to have the win to hang in there with Carolina and the wild card race, because I think that Seattle is pretty much running the table here. Oh, they're gonna clinch that division at some point. But the Niners, if they want to make the playoffs, have to win games like this. The Rams could give them a problem. The Niners beat them pretty easily early in the year in St. Louis, but that was with Bradford. Kellen Clemens actually has kind of given them a better chance to win than Bradford did. I never thought I'd be saying that. But, the Stacy injury could be big. St. Louis's defense is just playing real well right now. So Kaepernick's faced tough defenses this year. He didn't fare too well against Carolina. That scares me a little. I think it could be a close, low-scoring game. I'll take the Niners, though. I just think they have a defense, too.
Yeah,
Don't forget that. They have a very good defense, too, and I think they're a little more talent on the offensive end when all said and done.
Well said, Ruggs. I agree completely. Well said, buddy. I'm going to let you tackle this game. It's a big one. The biggest game of the day, by far. The Denver Broncos, 9-2, coming off a real tough loss, as we spoke of earlier. Going to Kansas City, who is coming off, he was about a kick in the gut. My God, that was the lowest of lows for them. That is I hate to say it for them, that's a bad loss. That is a bad loss by the Kansas City Chiefs. and they suffered a lot of injuries in that game.
Yeah, especially the way it happened too. Like
That's a tough loss for them. But the Patriots picked them up there and were able to help them out there and beat the Broncos to get them both to 9-2. How do you see this game shaking out, Ruggs?
I'm changing my pick because we talked last week. We said we were going to both go with Kansas City. The injuries to Holly and Justin Houston, that's too much to overcome. You could see how bad the defense performed after those guys went down. I mean, they had only given up 3 points really in the first half. Those guys went down the second half. They just got lit up. Denver's going to be really steaming after what happened, and it's a bad combination. I think Denver wins the game now.
I agree. The injuries, as we both touched on, not good news for the Kansas City Chiefs there. Really too bad. But I could see. I think Charles will play a lot better than he did last week against the Broncos in Denver. I think he's going to have a magnificent game, which he did yesterday. That shouldn't get lost in the shuffle.
Sure.
He had tremendous ball game yesterday, as did Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith kicked him in the game.
Alex Smith did all he could. Both those guys did. But obviously the Chiefs defense just couldn't stop another guy we kind of made fun of last week in Phillip Rivers. They didn't call him a winner. Boy, did he. Another guy that kind of made me eat crow with that last-second touchdown. But, yeah, I'm going to be actually with you, Ruggs. I'm going to change my pick as well, but I'm not going to change my pick. I'm not. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win the
Good
football.
job. Stick to your guns. I like it.
I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Despite the injuries on defense, I like Charles. I like Smith. That Broncos defense is not very good as well. I don't like the Broncos defense. I think the crowd's going to be into it. I think home field's going to be a major factor for them. And you know what? An injury that we kind of touched on, I think it's going to be pretty big. If Moreno's out for this game, that is bad. That is really bad for the Broncos because he's a huge part of that team on pass blocking and also running. As we saw him run for 224 yards last night against the Patriots. If they're missing him, if he doesn't play, or even if he's banged up.
It does get cold in Kansas City, too.
Yeah, I mean, Monte Ball fell out of favor with that fumble. And then the kid C.J. Anderson, and they're going to ask them to pass block. And that's going to be tough. And that's going to be really tough. I like the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to win this football game. And I just don't like what I'm seeing. The Broncos offense, it's kind of been sputtering. It sputtered yesterday. I don't think they would have scored that many points if it wasn't for the turnovers. They didn't play that. They weren't overly impressive against Kansas City 2 weeks ago. I mean, they made some plays, but they've kind of been sputtering, and I don't like what I'm seeing from them. And I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs right now. I think the Chiefs are going to win the football game. How about that?
Hey, I like the way you stuck to your guns there. That's
a man's greatest ability is to change his mind. Isn't it funny the way the world works? The way God made us, we just change our minds.
NFL is weird because if you looked at the schedule before the season and tried to pick games, like go ahead in the season pick games, and then you looked at it later, you'd laugh at yourself for the games you picked.
Yeah, remember.
You'd be picking Houston in a lot of games. You'd be picking Atlanta in a lot of games. You'd be picking.
I picked Tampa to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be picking them in a lot of these games.
We picked Houston to win the division.
We'd have probably picked Tampa Bay to sweep Carolina. A bunch of these games.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did.
I would never pick Buffalo to beat Atlanta, but I'm going to probably do that next week.
Oh, it's crazy. It's nuts. One more 425 game, the last one on tap. Yeah, this is turning out to be a big game as well. The 7-4 first place in the AFC North Cincinnati Bengals, who they're going to need this one because they're going to have to hold off either Baltimore or Pittsburgh after that Thanksgiving game. They got to get this one. They're 7-4 now, heading out to San Diego, who I just said Phillip Rivers. Really a great victory in Kansas City. That's one of the best victories I've seen the Chargers have, I think, since that playoff game against the Colts when he threw the overtime touchdown to Sproles. Remember, Rivers threw that pass, and he ended up retiring Tony Dungy. Actually, it was Dungy's last game as a coach. Really an impressive victory there. I'm going to go with the San Diego Chargers. They're out in San Diego. They're home. I think that win is really going to help them. I don't really like Cincy's defense. I know they had a bye week, but still they've had devastating injuries. These aren't 1 week injuries. I know Ryan Matthews got another injury we got to touch on. I don't know how serious Ryan Matthews' injury is. Like what I saw from the Chargers yesterday. That win can really help them gain some momentum, man. They really can. I know their pass defense ain't very good, the Chargers' pass defense, and which bodes well for A.J. Green, obviously. But it could be a shootout. The weather's nice in San Diego.
Yep.
We could have a nice 38-35 kind of game. And I like San Diego, man. What do you think?
I'm going to take the Bengals. I think San Diego's too up and down for me to pick them. Just like you said, it's a turnaround game, and you can see them making a run now, and it's just about the time when they go and lay an egg. I'll pick Cincinnati. I still like their defense better than San Diego's, even though they are shorthanded. Injuries are going to hurt. They don't have a huge offensive threats with the receiver. I mean, they had some great performances yesterday, obviously, but I think Cincinnati can lock down those guys and cover them. And if it really comes to the running game, especially Ryan Matthews is questionable. I like the way Cincinnati with Bernard and Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis run the ball better. Coming off the bye, Andy Dalton will have a chance to, study this defense a little bit and try to carve them up. And then A.J. Green should have a big game.
Nice. All right, we have a Sunday night game, the last game we're going to get into. The New York Giants head out to Washington. Again, another game that I thought was going to be a big one before the year started, even a few weeks ago. I should say a few weeks ago, really, really more when the season started. We all thought this was going to be a big football game. I mean, if the Eagles and Cowboys both win, I think this week, I think it's goodnight Irene for the Giants. I think the only way this game has any kind of meaning for the Giants is if either one of them lose. Or if
they might need to both lose.
Or if somehow both of them lose. Then the Giants can hope. But outside of that, I don't think there really is. But saying all of that, it's still a football game. It's an old division rivalry. We know a lot of history. What do you think, Ro? How do you think that game's going to shake out, Ruggies?
I'm going to pick Washington. I still think that RG3 is capable when the lights are on of putting up a big performance. This is going to be like their playoff game this year because they're not really going anywhere. I mean, I guess if they upset San Fran tonight, you could say they'll both be 4-7. You could say that this is just as important of a game for Washington as it is for the Giants, where they have to do scoreboard watching. And they actually are in the same boat with having no tiebreakers over the Cowboys or the Eagles. They haven't beaten either one of them yet this year. So they got swept.
They got swept by the Eagles.
And they've lost one to Dallas. So they're kind of in the dire straits like the Giants are. But if they win tonight, which we don't know yet, and they're 4-7, can still have some sliver of hope, and it's still a home game on national TV, RG3 playing. I'll take them. The Giants they get on these streaks now. It seems like they just are starting to maybe go over the cliff and they're going to come crashing back down. This could be the start of another long losing streak, perhaps. I don't think the Giants are mailing it in, but I think maybe just their mojo just isn't there this year. The bounces aren't going their way, and it might just be time to start thinking about next season.
Yeah, we definitely I agree with that in that regard. In terms of thinking about next year and the foreseeable future, actually, there's probably going to be a lot of roster changes for the New York Giants. They got some veterans in that team. Guys like Brandon Jacobs, Justin Tuck, guys like that, Hakeem Nicks, guys like that are probably not going to be back. So, Giants it's probably going to be a transitional year for the Giants next year. But saying all that, I'm going to go with the Giants. I think they're going to win the football game. Last year the Redskins, last year Monday night, they had a great game out there in Washington. The Redskins beat the Giants 17-16, and that really propelled the Redskins to win in the AFC East last year, NFC East, excuse me, and really, again, knocked out the Giants. Really, that game hurt the Giants very much because the Giants had won that game, they would have won the division. I think they are going to play hard. They're not going to quit. I think they're going to play hard. I know defensively they're not getting pressure on the quarterback. That favors RG3, but I just think they're going to win the game. I just don't like what I'm seeing from the Redskins, man. I don't like it. I just, if it was RG3 from last year, and that team from last year, I would pick them. But I just don't like I don't like this RG3. I don't like this offense. This offense is just not the same offense it was a year ago. And I think the Giants, they're going to have trouble with a traditional offense. The Giants are pounding the rock. I like what they're doing with Andre Brown. Even Brandon Jacobs coming in there. The receiving game is not really working. We'll see if Nicks even plays. Obviously, he didn't play last night, which ended up being a big injury for the Giants.
Yeah, definitely.
So, they were definitely missing him. But I think they have more weapons on offense. I like the Giants in this one.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap up our show for tonight.
Oh, man, already?
Yeah. And,
you're a party crasher there, Ruggies.
Sorry, I hate to do it, but,
we're over?
All good things have to come to an end someday.
Oh, jeez.
You know that song. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys again, listening on our next episode. Hopefully we'll be up and running on next Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
And, keep subscribing on YouTube going on. We appreciate all of you that have done that. And check our page out on Facebook. And listen, hopefully soon we'll be fully up and running on All Noise Radio.
Hell yeah. Let's do it, man.
All right.
Hopefully, man.
And happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Be thankful for everything you got. Enjoy sports, enjoy your family, enjoy your life. And we enjoy all of you, man. Thank you for the support, and we love you.
Exactly. Peace out.
Do you enjoy rap or hip-hop? What about lyrics on running away from the cops and making dollar bill? Then you need to join Eazy-E's School of Rap and Hip-Hop. We'll teach you how to rap, rhyme, and get the biddies, yo. Once you graduate, you'll even get a diploma signed by Ice-T himself. So join Eazy-E's School of Rap. You'll be involved in a gang shooting in no time.